Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Creative Leadership for Children and Young Adults. Creative Leadership is a program made for children and young adults who want to gain clarity, confidence, a vision for their lives. We help them get hold of tools and techniques to be effective in coping unknown situations, gain clarity about their life, become socially smart, and exhibit quality leadership. All right. So that is what creative leadership is all about. Okay, everybody. So we have with us Coach Q. So we're going to ask her a little bit about her first, and then we're going to hit into the questions. So, Coach Q, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone, and thank you again, Joelle, for the opportunity to be here. I'm so blessed. Thank you so much again. So my name, everyone, is Kia LaShawn Sands, and I am a life coach for teen girls. I am also the founder and president of Raising Esther. And Raising Esther is a holistic mentoring and coaching organization, and it is specifically tailored for adolescent girls. Girls go through so much, as you know, and so we thought that it was very important to establish this organization for girls as they maneuver through adolescence. And so ages 9 to 18 are who we cater to.
Wow, that's amazing. You know what? I have two princes of my own. I have two
Oh,
daughters.
nice.
Beautiful, yeah. Uh, they're still younger, but then what you're doing is amazing. I really think that young teen girls really need a mentor in their lives. Amazing. Sure. So let's get into our first question for today. So, since you work with the teen girls, one of the main things that teenagers have is a question of their identity, like who they are and
Yes.
how they value themselves, the self esteem. So, how would you define identity and self esteem?
Okay. So, Joelle, they're two different things, but they also relate on another level as well. I'd start by saying identity. Identity is being yourself. Identity is your blueprint, pretty much. Identity is what you are made of, okay? It is who God has called you to be. Identity is the thing that should remain the same, regardless of the things around you that are changing. Okay, so that is what identity is.
Wow.
As it relates to your self-esteem, self-esteem has a lot more to do with the value that is placed on the perception of your identity. Okay, so how
Okay.
you perceive yourself is important, but how much value you give to that perception is your self-esteem. So your confidence level, your self-respect, your ability to have confidence in your talents and in your gifts, as well as your relationships with peers and with your family and your siblings and so forth and so on.
Okay. So, what I get to hear you say is identity is separate from the environment. It's not affected by it. It's who you are, right? Your blueprint. That's amazing.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
it would be different from the personality, right? Like sometimes people talk about personality, which is on the outside. It's like you change. The temperament is different. That's different. Is that what you're saying?
Right. It is slightly different because our personalities, like you said, are expressed on the outside, but our personalities come from our identity. It's almost like a byproduct
Okay.
of our
Okay.
identity.
Okay.
Okay. And so your identity is at your core. I like to give analogies, Joelle.
Sure. Go ahead.
So for instance, let's talk about food, right? Let's talk about a fork versus a spoon. Okay.
Uh,
A fork is created a certain way. It's sculpted a certain way for a specific purpose. You won't use a fork to try to eat soup
good.
necessarily, because it probably won't really work out very well for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
And so, again, the structure of the fork is made for the purpose for which it was created.
Wow.
Okay, and so that is what our identity is all about.
Super. That's well said, actually. So, how is identity and self esteem linked to the well being of children and young adults?
Oh, wow. Children and young adults need both of these actually to thrive. It's like one goes with the other.
Okay.
Again, I love to use analogies. It's kind of like being an ATM card, right? That's
Okay.
the identity again. And the self-esteem would have to do with accessing the money in the bank. Okay, so you could know who you are as the ATM card,
Hmm.
but if you don't have the self-esteem to understand the value that you possess and your capability, you will never access
Wow.
everything on the other side.
Woo!
You understand what I'm saying? So they
Wow.
both go together. They go hand in hand, Joelle. And so research supports the fact that self-esteem is linked to overall quality of life.
Okay.
A child with high self-esteem is more likely to thrive in their academics, in their giftings, in their extracurricular activities such as sports or music. They would have healthier relationships, whether it be with, again, peers or family members, even with strangers. They also would understand boundaries. They would
Hmm.
understand the importance of boundaries if they have a healthy sense of self.
Wow.
Okay, so they would also set more realistic goals for themselves as well. So they won't put as much pressure on
Yeah.
themselves if they understand who they are. Okay, and so that is what a child with healthy self esteem would do.
Excellent.
And
So,
obviously, with unhealthy self esteem, it would be the opposite.
yeah. Wow. So you said it helps them set the boundaries, right? I mean,
Oh,
that's something that is a big word in the 21st century. I mean, boundaries. There's no more boundaries. So when you say
no.
the boundaries, if you could just expand a little bit on that, I mean,
Oh,
it
yeah.
really helped the audience. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so again, going back to what we first described, okay, so when you know who you are at your core, children and young adults, even if your environment changes on the outside, you will have a sense of peace on the inside because I know who I am. I know who God has created me to be. Okay, so when I say boundaries, if I know that I don't smoke, if I know that that's not who I am and that's not what my standard for my life is, then even though my peers are smoking, even though they're conducting themselves in a certain way, I will less likely participate in that activity because that is where I cross the line. That is my boundary.
Wow.
Okay? If there is sexting
Yeah.
and texting,
Yes.
inappropriate things going on,
Yeah.
okay, and I know that the Word of God says that my body is the temple of the Lord,
Yeah.
okay, and that it's holy
Yeah.
and that I value my body and I'm
Yeah.
trying to save myself for my husband or
Yeah.
for the guys, for my wife,
Yeah.
then I'm going to set a boundary and I'm going to say, you know what?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, but that's not for me. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about in terms of
Wow.
understanding who you are.
Wow. I mean, it tells me that it's somehow connected to your core values, like what
Oh
you
yeah.
value right?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
So, what are some of the problems that you think can be avoided if children and young adults get a get a good understanding of who they are, a good self-esteem, and get grounded in their identity?
Wow. That's a great question, Joel. Um, First of all, I will say that it's not for me. I'm a believer. I'm also a faith-based coach. And so for me, it's not sufficient to just have good self-esteem. You have to have God's self-esteem.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And what do I mean by that? What does that mean? What that means is that you have to be connected with the manufacturer of your life.
Hmm.
I'll give you an example. You asked about problems. If I have a problem with my vehicle, okay, I'm not going to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken to fix it. I'm not going to go to the mall, to fix it. I'm going to go to the manufacturer. I'm going to go to the dealership where I
Correct.
got the vehicle from to fix it. And so when we talk about problems with our self-esteem, when we talk about our identities, and being confused in that area, we've got to go back to the source. We've got to understand what God says about me.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing that I would tell children who have problems in those areas, and young adults as well. And so, again, children with lower self-esteem, they see themselves as inferior to others.
Yeah.
They focus on their weaknesses
Yeah.
rather than focusing on the things that they're strong at. Okay. They have more of a negative outlook on life, a fear of failure. Again, we talked about issues, setting boundaries, and a lot of them are people pleasers. You
Wow.
know, I will go with the wind. I'll go wherever the
Yeah.
wind is taking me. You know, this can leave them susceptible to bullying. This can leave them susceptible to academic stress, as well as relational issues with the opposite sex or even family members.
Yeah. Wow. So, I mean, when you said on all of the whole list that you gave me, I'm like, wow, that is something I've experienced too. Because as a child, I mean, I've been bullied, I've been for my color, right?
Yeah.
And it played into my self esteem. I wouldn't be able to talk, I wouldn't have the confidence to open my mouth in front of people. But then it's the love of God that can change us, like
Oh, man,
so
it's
much
amazing.
it can be done, like so getting to see ourselves from the eyes of God is a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
Joelle, absolutely.
yeah,
Because again, on the contrary to those problems, right? If a child or a young adult is grounded in godly self-esteem, they will have a better quality of life.
yeah,
You understand? Because
yeah,
when a child says you're ugly,
yeah,
no, the Bible says that Jesus is the way, the truth, and
yeah,
the life.
yeah, yeah,
So if he is the truth, then what he says about you is true.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. And I always tell my girls in my organization that it's not what they call you, Joelle.
yeah.
It's what you choose to answer to that
Wow.
matters. If you call me Sarah,
Yeah,
right, I'm not
yeah,
going to answer because my name is Kia LaShawn.
yeah.
And so, again, it goes back to identity.
Wow.
What is the name that your father gave you? Your
Yeah,
father in heaven, your father says that you're beautiful.
yeah,
So it doesn't matter if they say you're ugly. You're
yeah.
beautiful. You are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Wow.
You're forgiven. He says you're forgiven. So if you made a mistake, you messed up, you feel bad about that and that's messing with your self-esteem.
Yeah.
He says you are forgiven.
Wow.
You are the head and not the tail. You're above.
Wow.
Beneath. You don't want me to stop
Come
preaching.
on, preach it. Yeah, I love it. Wow. Brilliant, brilliant.
Listen, I'm telling you, and when you feel weak, he says, I can do all things
Yes.
through Christ who strengthens me.
Wow.
In fact, he thrives on our weaknesses because he says
Amen.
his strength is made perfect in
Amen.
our weaknesses.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
So, Coach Q, since you are a life coach and you have worked with so many children and teenagers already, I'm sure you've come across, you have certain tools or techniques or exercise, some things that are something that shines in what you do. It's your unique touch to the way you would help the children and teens. So, what are some tools and techniques that you could offer audience that can help them?
Okay, sure. No problem, Joelle. Well, one of the things that I do as a coach is that I partner with parents. I have to partner with the parents because, it's one thing to be basically trying to encourage and inspire a child as a coach, and then they have to go home to a negative environment or to an environment where what you are trying to foster is, kind of opposing, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
And so it's very important for parents to be on board with the coaching process.
yeah,
And I say that to say, as far as the tools are concerned, I'd like to break those two things up, if that's okay with you.
yeah,
I'd
yeah.
like to separate tools for the children versus some advice for the parents.
Okay,
Okay?
that's good. Yes, go ahead.
And so for the children, I would say embrace who you are and do not compare yourself with others. That's number one.
Okay.
Comparison is the thief of joy. When you
Mm.
start to compare yourself, that's when you
Mm.
run into problems.
Wow.
Oh, your skin is lighter, your skin is darker, your hair is longer. You know, you have less acne on your face. This one is fatter, this one is like, we get into comparisons, and especially when it comes to social media,
Yeah.
because, we want to look like the model on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so we have to make sure that we embrace
Yeah.
all of us and who we are and see it as beautiful and
Wow.
accept it.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's number one. Practice embracing who you are. Number two, really study God's word to find out what the manufacturer of your life has
Yeah.
to say about you.
Yeah.
His truth is the only truth that you should embrace.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
So
There's a lot of opinions in the world, but
correct.
they're just opinions.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Understand the truth of who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Number three, give yourself grace. Don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself grace to grow and understand that you are a work in progress.
Yeah.
Every day you're working to become a better version of yourself. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
you will make mistakes. It's okay.
Yeah.
Give yourself grace to grow.
Yeah.
Number four, surround yourself with positive, thriving people.
Wow. Very
Okay.
important.
Young people today call their crew their squad. Okay. That's my squad. So do a squad check. Okay. You got to check your squad.
Yeah.
Are they empowering you? Are they encouraging you to be better? Or
Yeah.
are they pulling you down?
Yeah.
And the last one for children is practice positive affirmations.
Mm.
Okay, so positive self-talk is
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah.
How you talk to yourself
Wow.
matters.
Wow. Okay.
How you talk to yourself matters, not just how people talk to you.
Hmm.
Okay?
So those are the tools for the children. Amazing
Yes.
5 tools. I mean, I would really think this 5 tools can. Do you have it as a manual or something like that? People could, because I think with the points that you're saying, you can really elaborate on this.
Oh
I'm
yeah, there's so
sure you
much
could.
more. There's so much more to share. But
Wow.
I do have a website. If parents want to get in touch,
Sure.
they can definitely get in touch through my website. I'll share that with you at the end. That's no problem.
Sure. Sure. So that's the tools for the children. And what about the advice for the parents?
Okay, no problem. So as far as the parents are concerned, Joelle, number one, practice what you preach.
Yeah.
We've got to practice what we have this thing as parents sometimes. Do as I say, not as I do. Right? Yeah, but that's not effective. When we're raising children, we have got
Correct.
to set a standard for
Yeah.
our own lives because we have to understand that they are watching.
Correct.
Everything that we do, they're watching and they're modeling after what it is that we're doing. And so if we want them to have high self-esteem and confidence,
Yeah.
we need to carry ourselves in
Correct.
that way. If they see that mom is depressed,
Yeah.
if they see that mom is settling for a relationship that is beneath her value,
Hmm.
listen, that is not a good thing for a daughter or a son to witness.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that can have very detrimental consequences. And so we have to analyze our lives and practice what we preach. Set good examples for our kids.
Wow.
Number two, actively show your children how to carry out tasks and then let them try to do it themselves.
Hmm.
Do not enable your child. Show and demonstrate how things are done,
Hmm.
but avoid doing the task for them all of the time.
Yeah.
There's a narrative that says, teach a man to fish,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? I don't know if that's popular in India.
Yeah. It is. It is. It is. It is. Yes.
Yes,
I mean, when somebody comes to you asking for money or asking for food, you don't give the food. Teach him how to fish.
exactly. You teach
Yes.
them how to fish. And that way they'll have food for the rest of their lives,
Yeah. Yeah.
not
Yeah.
just for that moment.
Correct. Because
And so, yeah,
that
go
also
ahead.
tells us that they can become very dependent on the parent, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you wonder why your child is 30 and still
They're
You
still
know,
like, Mama's boy.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So number three would be to reinforce good effort. You've
Okay.
got to reinforce when you see that your child is making an effort.
Mm.
Okay, reinforce the good effort and not just the results.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of times we say, oh, you got an A on that test.
Mm.
That's good, but also focus on the fact that they studied hard, they prepared,
Yeah.
they made an effort. So even if they got a C or a B, guess what? If it's their best
Yeah.
and if they made an effort and they tried, still
Appreciate.
award and,
Yeah.
recognize that.
Yes.
Okay. And number four, the last thing I would leave with them is avoid saying words that you can't take back.
Mm.
Harsh criticism is detrimental. I know some adults who are 30 in their 30s and 40s and still dealing with
What?
daddy said I was worthless when I
Wow.
was 5. Do you understand? Or when I was 7, mommy called me stupid.
Mm.
Be careful with harsh criticism and words that we can't take back. Emotional responses are not healthy responses because your emotions are going to change.
Yeah.
Your emotions are going to fluctuate. You may come home one day and you had a bad day at work,
Yeah.
and your child wants your attention and is kind of nagging a bit,
Yeah.
and you may say something harsh to them. But guess what? Your emotions are going to subside a few hours later.
Wow. Yeah.
And then you're going to be like, wow, what did I just do? What did I just say?
Hmm.
So humble yourself and be willing to apologize if something like that happens.
Amazing. So, wow. I mean, I could just go on and on listening to this. In fact, as you were talking this, the thought that was running in my head is like, wow, you're not just someone who could like help the parents or the students, but probably you can help out a lot of even the you have a kind of a mentoring spirit. I could just really feel that, you know,
Yeah.
like who can mentor the other coaches also. I don't know. I'm just constantly having that over me as you are speaking. You know, um, so Coach Q, why don't you go ahead, tell us a little bit about how parents and children can get in touch with you, a little bit about your organization, like what's the name of your organization, and something about it. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. So the name of the organization is Raising Esther. Now, a lot of us know about Queen Esther
Yeah.
in the Bible, and we know her to be this amazing queen who ended up approaching the king in a time when, she was not even to approach.
Yeah.
She was not even to approach without his permission,
Yeah.
or she could be killed. And so
Yeah.
she recognized that her people needed, they needed that assistance immediately or they could be killed. And
Mm.
so she went before God and she sought God on the decision to go before the king. She
Mm.
did with bravery, and she ended up saving her people. So we know the story of Esther, but what we don't talk about a lot of times is that Esther went through preparation.
Mm.
Esther went through a lot of preparation. Okay. And Esther was also adopted
Yeah.
by her cousin Mordecai. And so she didn't have a silver spoon in her mouth.
Oh.
She wasn't born a queen, and just had all of this privilege handed down to her. She was favored, approved, and chosen by God. And that is what our organization is all about. We are the home of the favored, approved, and chosen queens.
Yeah.
And we are all about preparation for young girls.
Wow. So it's like you are the Mordecai that the Esther needs, right?
Ah, yes,
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
yes.
So, um, what are the services that you offer that can assist the girls discover their identity and build confidence?
Okay, so I offer one-on-one coaching, which is my specialty. Um, as I said earlier, I am a certified teen life coach for girls specifically, and I am ICF certified. That means I am affiliated with the International Federation of Coaching.
Yes.
which is known throughout the
World.
globe. Um, and coaching isn't really regulated, but ICF is the highest standard of
Yeah.
coaching there is. And so I really prided myself on getting that certification because this is my passion and I really want to bring about real change in their lives. And so I offer one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching to girls,
Okay.
confidence building exercises as well. That's definitely important. Parents can find me on my website. It's www.raisingesther.com, and they can book through the website that way.
Excellent. I mean, that's like to the point website. .co.co. It's not anything.
Nothing
It's just a
complicated.
straight .com. That's it. RaisingEsther.com. That's
That's
easy
it.
to remember. So that's really good. And Coach Q, any final thoughts? Anything that you would like to speak to? I mean, the whole audience, whoever is watching, something, a last final word before we say bye to them.
Wow. Again, Joelle, it's just been a pleasure being here. I can go on and on and on as I am
Yeah.
a talker.
I can see that.
But I just want them to keep their heads up.
Yeah.
I want them to understand that how you start is not necessarily how you have to finish.
Wow.
Life is a journey
Yeah.
and you will have bumps in the road, but you have to understand that those bumps, those obstacles, those things that come to challenge us
Yeah.
are the very things that help us to grow and to evolve into the person that God has created us to be.
Wow.
And so just be encouraged. I just want them to be encouraged. For the young people, if you've made a mistake, if you feel like there's no coming back from something that you've done, please understand that there is another chance. As long as there's life, there is another opportunity. So that's
Wow.
where I'll live with them.
Okay. Okay, so thank you, Coach Q, for your presence here and for the valuable thoughts. And it was more than thoughts, it's like heart searching. And I'm sure people are going to really take action and they're going to be getting in touch with you. All right. So, and we want to really congratulate you uh, for all the accomplishments and the future that you're looking at up to. Congratulate you for the future that is coming in. I mean, there's more to come, and we know that you are going to shine. All right. Thank you so much, Coach Q, for your presence. And so, with that, my dear friends, let's remember creative leadership is all about helping children and young adults gain clarity, vision, confidence for their lives. We're going to give tools and techniques for coping various situations, get clarity in your life. So that's what we are all about. So, dear friends, if you really enjoyed this episode, go ahead, get in touch with Coach Q. She's really a gem. She's really going to help you take you forward to the next level of who you are. All right. So, with that, I want to take time and sign off until I'm going to see you the next time. Take care. God bless. Have a great day.